This business imports products from China and India. They were generating £125,000 a month, and the sales have gone down to £45,000 per month. They lost £60,000 in the last 12 months, but the business owner wants to take this business to the next level. Now, handy for him, this is a business that I know a lot about. I've got some tricks up my sleeve to help grow his business. Strap yourselves in. Hello campers, welcome back to the Business Broadcast, the podcast designed to help grow your business. We are here with James Burt.
Hello there, you're excited about this one, aren't you?
Yeah, this is the sort of, because I really
love these ones,
feel I can really help this person. Well, I was just thinking that the last three podcasts that we've done, including this one, this person's an importer and a wholesaler of homewares and products. So, you know, when you go to a garden centre and they've got that sign up, them metal signs, them motivational quotes that people have around the house.
Yeah.
You either love them or you hate them.
Yeah.
But if you do love them, he's your man.
He's the guy.
If you want a fluffy doorstop, you know, we've got a couple of them at home.
Oh yeah, we've got loads of that stuff.
Like a cow that stops the door from opening. It's got sand in the bottom. He supplies them. Chalkboards with notes on for shopping lists and stuff like that. His company is called, what is it called?
Gecko Products.
Gecko Products. It seems like it's been going a long time. Interesting that I loved about this is he's doing 45 grand a month, but he was doing 125k a month in COVID. We spoke about this 3 episodes ago. Like, running a business in COVID was so easy.
Yeah,
it was just so easy.
Well, he was 6+ years. We have to find out exactly how long he has been going for. So it's not like it was a COVID business that was set up during COVID. No. So he's obviously been going before, goes into it. That's an interesting one, isn't it? That must be a very... And maybe, have you got any businesses where you were doing sort of like, let's say you were doing 50 grand a month, then it jumps to 150 a month, then it drops back down after? Do you lose enthusiasm because it was a time that, fingers crossed, touch wood, we will never repeat, but because you don't get back to that sort of level of turnover, do you think, is it even worth it, this?
I think...
you had the farm shop, didn't you? I remember the farm shop,
we closed that because, but that became too tough. It was easy in COVID, but afterwards...
That was brilliant what you guys did. I remember that because you were doing you would go to the boot of the car, so it was like hands-free, wasn't it? And everything was like sanitised, and you bring out the baskets and all that.
I think we were just doing it for something to do. It's very hard to make money out of that. But even in this importing game, if you're doing 45k a month, it's just not enough turnover to make money. So just to give context, he's buying products from China, he's buying products from India, and then he is reselling them on.
Yes. Direct to consumer and wholesale.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Absolutely, yeah. So, I think he's mainly wholesale, isn't he? He said he's selling it through Fair and Wayfair, which I believe... Wayfair, what is Wayfair?
Wayfair is like not on the high street kind of thing, I think. So it's like online retail for smaller run. Would you call it a small run thing? It's more bespoke. We could ask Chris about this in a minute. Let's just butcher it for a bit.
Yeah, this is a so that is, but they're selling it direct to consumer. So
they're selling it through Wayfair direct to consumer. So rather than going to Chris's business, I think
Wayfair are a customer of his, buying a load of stuff and then reselling it on.
What I love, let's find out. Let's see how much wrong information you and I can pull from each other when the guy who's got all the answers is just one button away.
Well, that is true, yeah. But before we bring him on, I think a lot of people are interested. Entrepreneurs, sorry, not a lot of people. Let's rephrase that.
Most people couldn't care less.
Yeah, most people couldn't care. I could buy this from China and save myself a fortune, which, to be fair, is how I used to think. And I think you can only do it if you are buying serious volumes. This is not for the person that just... But anyone, I promise you, if you are just going to buy 1 or 2 things from China...
It is not cheaper.
Don't do it.
No.
Like, it's got to be volume. And when you do volume, and you've got to get on the plane and go out there, as I am doing in 4 weeks' time, and I'll be out there for 2 weeks, then I'm going again at the end of October, and I'll probably be going again this time of this year. I've been to Turkey, I've been to India, I've been to China. I go to where I'm buying the stuff from.
Yeah. Why?
You just can't flirt with it. You get better prices, you get better at quality control, you see the innovation, you get to know your partners out there.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to do this from Zoom and email.
Do you think that it's difficult to do? That's a point of difference, because it is difficult to do from Zoom and email. That if you're the guy who makes the effort to get on the plane, you are already in the top 5% of their clients that they will look after, because you've made that additional
Less
effort.
and less and people are doing that. So I think if they know you're going
Less
to
and less, you reckon?
Yeah. Most
Really?
people, more like him.
Yeah.
He said, I haven't been to China in 5 years before COVID, you know. So, as soon as I went when China were, they were the last to remove restrictions.
That's where it started as well, wasn't it? They locked down quicker. They locked down for the best part of 2 years, didn't they?
So, and I like that, he said, well, let's ask the questions, Jabby. So he's been going 6+ years. To be fair, that's an error of ours, because we only allow people, it could be going for 20 years. He could have been doing this. Let's
guess. How long do you reckon?
At least 15.
Okay, yeah. I reckon he's been going for 12. I think he had a high-flying corporate job, got burnt out and started to import fluffy doorstops. That's what I reckon. High-end finance to fluffy doorsteps. That's the journey, I reckon. He's doing 45k. So you're saying that's just not enough in the import game?
No.
Okay.
Because I asked him, one of the things I said, what's the value of stock you've got? And he said he's sitting on 250 grand's worth of stock, but at the high, 400,000.
Right. How much do you said? About 2.5 million quid's worth?
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
So are you doing, so if you're sat on 10 times the stock level, are you doing 10 times the turnover?
Yeah, well.
10 times the monthly revenue?
Look, it's not comparing apples with apples, because he's got a lot smaller stuff. But I would, this business, if you're a wholesaler, it's all about holding stock, because when people want it. They want range, they want volume, they want to buy it quick.
And they want it now.
And if you're selling repeat lines like he is, non-fashion lines, or maybe his stuff is fashion lines, I'm not so sure. We'll have to ask that. My stuff isn't fashion lines. So, I'm buying stock now, and it's all, over 5 years, it'll always go up in value. But I'm turning my stock, every 4 months I return it.
Well, the whole lot gets turned in 4 months. Really?
Yeah.
That's quite quick to turn it, isn't it? So you're turning it every three times a year?
Yeah, 3 times a year, but it takes 9 months to
get it here.
Yeah, get it here and get it manufactured. Maybe it'll get a bit less now once all these bloody containers get sorted out. But, it takes 6 to 8 to 10 weeks to get made, then 6 to 8 weeks on the water, and then, so you got to sell it.
So from again, it's like an ignorant person who doesn't have to deal with these sorts of costs. You've got 2.5 million quid's worth of money tied up in stock. Is that just the sort of the end sort of value of the stuff that's sat there? So you've also got more money deployed in
that's your cost
production,
value.
And there's stuff that's going out.
So that 2.5 million, if it was all sold at the right margins, should turn into 4.5 to 7 million, depending on what it is.
Okay.
Some things have better margins than others.
So with your supply, because you've got an office out in China now?
Yeah.
So when you work with people, do you work with them, you're paying the end or the creator of it? Are you paying them for the shipping, the landing? Do you do it all?
No, you do that yourself.
Do that all yourself as well?
You get the factory to do something called FOB, freight on board. So they deliver it to the port.
To the dock, okay.
But sometimes, this is getting bloody complicated. Most people don't know this, but seeing as you asked, we have a warehouse in China, so we ship all of our stuff to our warehouse, and then we mix the containers so that we haven't got too much room taken up here in the UK, because warehousing in the UK, certainly in the southeast, is very expensive. So you'll
have some teddy, some sand art and all that stuff.
If I was using 50,000 of these a year, because I'm bringing in a 40-foot container, sometimes 2 or 3 a week, that takes up a lot of room. I'd rather have mixed containers. That's taken me years to achieve that. But once you've got that can make a big difference.
So that means that you're holding it the other side of the water rather than this side of the water?
In both places. We've got masses of...
But it's cheaper to hold it there than it is to hold it here, if that makes sense.
Well, yeah, and finding warehouses is, I would rather have, a little bit of lots of stuff here in the UK rather than say, right, we need 50,000 of that a year. I'd rather have 1,000 of them come in each week rather than 50,000 in one hit that takes up so much room, and it takes a whole year for that whole line to sell through. Because we're bringing in so many containers, we mix them as much as possible.
So have you got like a standard, right, we want 10,000 teddy bears, we want 10,000 sand art books, we want 10,000. Do you have like a standardised mixed?
Well, as things are being
now
made, they just get sent.
Who deals with the logistics of that?
We're using a massive piece of software that cost us about 70 grand to put in place.
Really?
Yeah.
And what is done based on scanning in and out sort of thing?
Yeah, and all
so
the
it's
values.
like a depot software.
We've got some big customers that say we want 42,000 of these this year. Like we sell about 60,000 glass bottles every single year that kids fill with sand.
Right.
They got a little rubber stop on.
Yeah.
You probably done it with your kids. But because we're going to sell a big load of them through within 3 months, we did fill a whole container of them up, but they've taken up so much space in my warehouse. I was like, God, we should have split them over other containers because we always run out of space. I will show you, whilst we're talking, a video just so you can just see just how bad it is, how much space we're taking up. And maybe
you can send this so we can pop it up on the screen so other people can see it as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's our second warehouse.
That's the second one?
Yeah.
Faraday full, no more fridges or freezers, please.
Yeah, that's my team sending it
if
to
they
me.
are no good. Wow.
So that's
a huge space, isn't it?
Yeah, that one's 15,000 square foot. I mean, we can't even get in there.
Wow. And where's that? This is in the southeast as well, is it?
Yeah, this is in Essex.
Have you just bought this? Oh, is this on the glass roof? So you'll have to refurb that glass roof?
Yeah. And we're just taking on another one. We're taking on another 15,000 square foot space. But that will all be gone within 4 months.
Client services. I couldn't be bothered with all this nonsense.
Well,
how long did it take you to get to the point where you sort of understood this? Because again, you're someone who's just sort of got into the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. No, being a wholesaling importer.
I'm a typical entrepreneur. An opportunity comes along and I can't help myself. If I think it folds into my existing empire, I had a couple of big customers that went, "Oh, I'd like to buy from you," because I was supplying myself. Really,
okay.
How it all started, I was making teddy bears for my own business, thinking I could get them cheaper in China rather than buying from someone else, and I wanted them made in a specific way, which is too much for this podcast because no one will care. But I wanted them made in a specific way. And someone else said, "Oh, can you supply them to me?" And that 7 years ago, that's how it all happened.
That was literally how it all started.
Yeah.
And it's taken you 7 years to get the mixed container thing right, get the fulfillment right, get the logistics right.
Get some big customers that can help you with volume.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I would be advising to Chris is actually sometimes it's good to get a big customer on that you don't make a lot of money from, but
it forces you to expand your enterprise and operation.
It gives you the buying power to build range all yourself, but you got to want to do it, and it's a tough 3-4 years while you're building it up.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, let's get him on, shall we? Because we've talked enough about his business behind his back. Let's talk about it to his face. Oh, in fact, sorry, no, we've not even talked about all the rest of this stuff.
No, come on, let's quickly do that then. Does he have team members?
Do you have team members? Yes, he's got 4. Challenge 1, getting customers. Challenge 2, cash flow and turning stock faster, which we've touched on. Challenge 3, leading the team. Where do you want to be in 1 year time? £1 million in sales with a £100,000 net profit. What does the business look like when it's finished? Own the warehouse we operate from. He's taken out of the James Sinclair playbook, hasn't he? Yeah. £5 million in sales with the 500k net profit, and the dream team running the day-to-day. You used to write in that book?
No, I've read the book. It's just,
mate,
I don't know where we're at with that.
You should. Okay, fine.
I've paid for it. I've recorded the audio of it. Before it comes out,
sing the theme tune.
Before it comes out, I'm going to have to do a revised edition at this rate.
Yeah, AI staff members.
Where are we at with that? Do we know, team?
Print.
It's in print.
Oh yeah, no, they mucked up the edit, didn't they?
Yeah, we're reformatting it. It's going to print.
Yeah, so
reformatted.
It's not our fault.
Stay tuned, guys. This reformatted and going back to print.
Yeah.
What does the business look like? Oh, I said that a minute ago. Do you make the profit that you want to? If so, is it? What is it? No, he does not. He lost 60k in the last 12 months. What do you spend your time doing day to day in the business? Is the final question that we ask. And Chris said to us, "I try to spend 80% of my time on sales, but I get sucked into operations far too often. Just made 2 people redundant, so doing everything apart from packing parcels in the warehouse right now." I recently started forcing myself to go out visiting past customers once a week to get more orders, not worked so far. So this is definitely a business with a few challenges, but I think you are perfectly placed, Jimbo Sinclair.
Hey gang, we're going back to the pod in just a moment, but I wanted to tell you about Entrepreneurs University. This is a platform that I've created for entrepreneurs and business owners that are serious about growth. There's 100 video lessons from me on everything in business, raising finance, buying companies, property investment, and everything in between. Attached to each video is a downloadable PDF that goes into more detail about what we've learned in the video. It goes one step further than that because I've also put stuff that you won't get anywhere else onto Entrepreneurs University. The lessons go into way more detail, but not just that. You're going to get my business plans, my spreadsheets, and all the files that I use to drive the KPIs in my business. Just think about how powerful that could be for your business. And here's the good news. You can try Entrepreneurs University for free. 14-day free trial. After that, it will cost you just $49.99 a month. That's less than a pair of Nikes to grow the profitability in your business. There's a link in the video description, and I cannot wait to see you in Entrepreneurs University.
Yeah. Should we speak to Chris?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Chris, welcome to the Business Broadcast. How the devil are you, sir?
Thank you. Yes, I'm good. Thank you.
Amazing stuff.
We had some questions I don't want to forget because we sometimes do that. How many years have you been trading? That's what I was...
Yes.
Started in 2014 and before that I was in the family business making ice cream.
No way.
Get out of town.
Whereabouts in the country are you?
Nottinghamshire.
What was the ice cream company?
It's called Thamar.
Wow. Is they still going?
Yes, yeah.
Wow. So was it a high quality ice cream or was it a volume based ice cream?
Yeah, high quality. We, my mum and dad started it in '86 with a view to increase sales from the dairy farm.
Wow. And are you still running it as from dairy farm into ice cream? As a family?
No, because my father passed away and things in '94. So things changed because my mum was just on her own. So the milk is just bought from a local dairy farm now instead.
Wow. And is it delicious ice cream?
Yes. I was brought up on it.
Oh, I love ice cream. Which is something I do know about, but we're not here to talk about ice cream today. We are here to talk about importing. So I'm always interested to know, how did you think, I'm going to import stuff from the Far East, I'm going to go and see India, I'm going to go and see China. How did that start?
Well, 14 years ago, I got a bit fed up with the family business. And I know you've got experience of family businesses and how it goes. So I decided to go off and do something for myself. The grand plan is for me to get back into farming. And so the idea was to grow a business, to sell it, and then buy a farm and live happily ever after.
Is that still the aim?
Yes. Yeah.
Really? Okay. What farming would you do?
Arable. So, cereals and vegetables.
Yeah. Well, I'm also sort of in farming as well. I own 2 farm parks. All my friends that have got farms, they struggle to make money from farming. So.
No, that's it. Yeah. So it's just a lifestyle really, rather than a money making thing. Yeah.
It's funny, so many farmers say that.
They love the lifestyle.
Absolutely.
Which during the summer is
like a religion.
Work from 4 a.m. till 10 o'clock at night.
And all the poor people right now, they've had so much wet ground, they can't do anything.
Yeah.
I'm sure you got friends that just can't work at the moment because the ground's so wet.
Absolutely terrible. Yeah.
And you still want to go back into it? Having said all of that, how difficult it is, how tough it is.
I was born into it, so
Fine, okay.
it's just in my genes.
Yeah, interesting. So important to get back into the farming game.
What happens with farmers though? They every sort of couple of times a generation they sell a bit of land off and make a load of money, and that just keeps it all going. That's usually what happens. Do you see that, Chris?
Oh yeah. There's a lot of that, and there's the tax incentives for people like James Dyson. He's big into farming now because there's no inheritance tax on agricultural land, so that's pushing the prices up as well.
He is, I believe, the biggest landowner in the country now.
Yeah. No, is he really?
Yeah, something like that. He's in the top 3 or 4. Up there.
Yeah, and he can hand it all on tax free.
Yeah.
So two,
but
did
it
he knock
doesn't
you out of
generate an
number 3?
income. Shut up. It doesn't generate you an income, really. That's he's just. But
So
if
the
you
tax-
own enough of it,
Yeah.
and then someone comes along and wants to build on it, then
Then you have a payday.
he just sold his house, didn't he, for 45 million?
Did he really?
Yeah, the carpets were lovely. He didn't. I just made that up.
Very good.
I just made that up. He didn't
Very
really say. So he's been going. This business though. So what made you get into import? You got into it because you wanted to get back into farm, but actually
No. So I was looking for something else to do. So it was a business that was for sale. Now it was a husband and wife. They basically just 4 months earlier they'd gone to China, bought 5 container loads of stock, and then they decided it was now or never with the age of the children to emigrate to Australia. So I came along, just bought the name and the stock, and went from there. So that was 10 years ago.
And have you ever made money from it?
Oh yes, yeah. So our first year I think we lost $3,000, and then after that we consistently made a profit. I think year before COVID we made $50,000, and then through COVID it was $200,000 a year. But now because we bought too much stock when we were paying $18,500 per container to get it over here. And then the sales slowed down, and we had a bigger overhead base, and we put in a warehouse management system that was a complete nightmare. So everything, it's just a perfect storm.
Yeah. Well, I'm putting in one of those warehouse management systems right now. Do you know what software you used?
It's a company called Cloud Commerce Pro.
Yeah, we're not using them, so I'm glad to hear that. I've never. I mean,
Yes,
I mean, the jury's out. I will say, if anyone else comes on in the pod in a few months, and I'll tell you how we're going with ours. But it's cost us about, I think, 60, 70 grand or so. It's a horrific amount of money, but it should save you all the money with a postage where everything is.
Why is it so expensive? What's the expensive part of it?
There's a lot of work because it scans everything and knows where everything is.
Right, okay.
It's a lot. So
is it the setup of the
software?
software?
They come and train you on site. Yeah, it's a load of. Right. But that's not what we're here to discuss today.
Well, we sort of are.
Well, but I want to understand from you, Chris, how ambitious are you? Do you really want to take this great guns, or are you happy with just $100,000 a year?
No, I do want to make like I said in the brief, get to, in the next 5 years, get to that 5 million turnover, 500,000 profit, and then so if I can keep the business and have that dream team operating it, I've then got the flexibility to go off and do other things. So I'm absolutely ambitious. Yeah.
And then will you look to sell the business one day?
Possibly, but it might just be there to fund my lifestyle.
Yeah. Do you know what? I find it very difficult to come across businesses that just fund people's lifestyle without people heavily being involved. I find that incredibly rare.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Yes, yeah.
Unless it's massive, and you can afford, a $25 million CEO, and it's one of the big daddies, 150 million plus revenue, and it's got amazing people that earn way more than most entrepreneurs would dream of earning. And I think running a £5 million business completely just for lifestyle, I just find rare at that size. It needs to be maybe even
it's got to be either like bigger or smaller to give you a nicer lifestyle. Do you think?
Yeah. I mean, my advice would be, if you really wanted to have a lifestyle business, you sell this, you get it to 5 million in sales, £500,000 worth of profit, and then you sell that for £3 million and you buy £3 million worth of warehouses and live off the rent to fund your lifestyle. That's what I would be doing. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. No, I'm picking up that from your content that you put out all the time.
It's just yeah. And these businesses is all about the person that does the buying for a wholesale importing business that has a good feeling on what the market wants to buy, and that is good at turning dead stock back into cash quickly. So on your getting customers, how many exhibitions are you doing? That was one of your challenges.
None.
So I think that's a big error.
The business has just grown organically without any real push to. It's all been online because we do a lot of drop shipping. So for example, Wayfair, they are just a website, and they don't hold any stock. When they get an order, it comes to us and it's shipped direct to the customer. So we do a lot of that, and it's just all grown organically.
Yeah, but I want you to do all that. But if you wanted to get into garden centres and stuff, here's what I would do. Because you've got a showroom that people can come and visit. I would, rather than having a big NEC spring fair big bill, I would hire 8 hotels and set up a mobile showroom, and you say, right, we're in Norfolk today. If you're in an hour's drive time of Norfolk, you get someone to ring round all the garden centres, all the gift shops, and say, look, come and have lunch on us, book an appointment, and then they come to you, and it's within a 30-minute drive time. You do the same in Birmingham, you do the same in Manchester, you do the same in Glasgow and Edinburgh. That would explode this type of business.
Yes, and I have noticed a competitor who doesn't do trade shows. They have a trade show van.
Yeah, you should do that.
Go around with a van.
We do that.
And just, yeah.
Do you?
Yeah,
For which
it's a good
business?
idea.
Teddy-tastic.
Do you?
Yeah, we have a big transit van that we take
Like
all
a
of us.
side thing, so it seemed like a shop set up inside.
No, not sure, but we are going to do that.
Oh, right, okay.
But the best thing to do is hire a hotel function room for a couple of days and make it even more comfortable, and you put the effort in, because if you can get a garden centre in, they might spend $100,000 a year with you on all that sort of stuff, and there's
absolutely, yeah,
and they love going to those sorts of things. And there's loads and loads of your exhibitions, but the thing is, and people say, oh, I've got a showroom, come and see our showroom. But if it's like a 5-hour trip out and it's a whole day, like that's a I don't know, it's friction, isn't it? And really, if you can say, yeah, we're 20 minutes down the road from you, you go, okay, yeah, I can do that. And you book an appointment and you have a nice cup of tea and it's air conditioned, or it's I think the van thing is also important, but we are very proactive in going and seeing customers. And I think that's important. You should be doing all the stuff you're doing, but definitely get some showroom on the move sort of stuff as well.
Yes. Yeah.
And if you can afford it, do the exhibitions as well. But remember, the follow-up is so important.
I did price. Yeah, I did price up for Spring Fair this year, and it was over $30,000, and we just couldn't afford it.
No, well, that's what I'm saying, is that if you ring and builders have someone on the phones saying, look, do you want to come and see our mobile showroom? This is all the stuff we do. And I would probably even say, look, come and see what we do. If you spend over £1,000 with us, an order on the day, we'll give you £300 worth of free stock. Like, do whatever you can, just get them in the front, because at the end of the day, what commissions do you give Wayfair to find you a customer? What are you prepared to do to buy a customer? Because if you get a garden centre that's going to spend $100,000 a year with you, over 10 years they spent £1 million with you, what are you going to do to get them over the line?
Yeah, I see. It's really high lifetime value with the wholesale customers if you look after them.
Absolutely. Your cash flow and turning the stock faster. Like, you got to have a salesperson. That's they really. I mean, that's what we've got on this, and you need to give them a 3-month bonus, so they get a salary, and you say, look, if you generate this amount of money in the next 3 months or 3 consecutive months of turnover, you get this. Don't do annual salaries, do it much shorter periods, so that they know that they've got to build the pipeline within 90 days.
And wait, what sort of commission are you paying then?
Well, my view is you should, if I had this business, I would do it very simple. And I would say, because you know what your gross profit is, and if you make it too complicated, salespeople don't necessarily understand about the profit and loss and the gross margins and all of that. If they're experienced, they become managers and directors, go through it. But I would just say very simply, look, if you bring in £400,000 worth of sales in the next 3 months, you'll get X. If you bring in 600, you get X. If you bring in 800, you get Y, because you're setting the prices.
Yeah.
Just keep it really simple.
Yeah.
Once you've got over the line of that, then start complicated things, which is what we all tend to bloody do. But usually the simplest stuff is, bring in £1 million, you get X. Because they're not deciding the pricing,
good,
you
okay.
are. And I think what a lot of business owners do is say, this is what you get at the end of the year. No, this is what you get at the end of 30 days or 90 days. The reason I'm saying 90 days in this business is because sometimes you just don't get the deal in 30 days. You've got to build pipeline. You're getting a new garden centre over, they've got to get it signed off, blah, blah, blah. But what I like about these things is if they don't get it in quarter one, that sale will move into quarter two. And then you've got 90 days to build up. And do you know what?
Yeah.
There will be people out there that can do this sort of stuff. I would literally go to a recruitment agency and say, I want someone that sells to garden centres. Garden centre, this is garden centre 101, all this stuff, isn't it?
It is, yeah, ideal, and there are, we've got big chains in this country, but there are a lot of independents as well.
Yeah, but when a good salesperson will get into the big chains as well, because even what a lot of people say about the big chains is they go, they just import it all themselves. They always run out of stock, and they then always use importers. I know that for a fact because I've got a lot of friends that are importers that supply Tesco's. They sell millions of pounds worth of stuff to Tesco's because Tesco's are always caught short and they run out of stock, so they then use importers.
All right, that's interesting.
For independent garden centres, will there be like a independent garden centres procurement group that they'll sort of club together and get the benefit?
Yes, there is. And I wouldn't be. I'm glad you pulled that up, JB, because as he was talking, I forgot to go back on something. I wouldn't be looking to do the NEC. I would find out the Garden Centres Owners Association.
Yeah, a trade fair.
Yeah, they'll have one. The Christmas one's in Harrogate. I would go to that. They do a big Christmas garden centre trade show in Harrogate. If you had Christmas gear, you should be exhibiting at that. That'd be way cheaper than the 30 grand at the NEC. And do you know what? The smaller shows, in my experience, so we do stuff at the NEC. And it costs a lot of money.
We do it for teddy bears.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do a big leisure show at the NEC, and it's good and it returns. We do another one for the National Farm Attractions Network. Big shout out to my NAFAM friends. About 300 people go there. But all of those 300 people are decision makers running their own business of at least 1.5 million turnover. And pound for pound, we get a much better return on the one where only 300 people go to compared to the thing that's got 100,000 people walking around and a big chunk of them are students that some exhibition person's just doing to make the numbers busy. You've done them all as well, haven't you, in the business space. You sometimes you come to one of my events, JB, there's only 220 business owners, or you go to one of the business events at the Excel, they've got 100,000 people and none of them are.
To your point, I came and exhibited before we reaffirmed our bromance. I won't be paying again this year, or I'll be paying double. So we did the business show at Excel.
Yeah.
And we had, must have been 10,000 people saw our stand.
Yeah.
We did a live podcast stand and we had a live broadcasting. At one point we had 150 people just turned around and everyone at the exhibit was like, this is the best stand that's here, blah, blah, blah. Did not convert a single pound. Honest to God, did not convert a single pound. And then we did, and there was 30,000 attendees, they reckoned, over that show. Then we came and did yours, and that's already turned into £45,000.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have told you that, should I? I'm going to be paying double now, aren't I, next time?
No, I told you can have it for free, which now really annoys me. but I think that just reaffirms the story. Like that, you come to one of my events, there's 200-300 people there. You go to something in London where there's 30,000 people there, but it could be a lot of tyre kickers.
Yeah.
And I do want you to remember that conversation, Chris, when you listen back to this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because I'm just wondering if there's any others like interior designers, independent gift shop type groups. That so yeah.
You just need
I'll
a
search
really.
those.
I mean, it should be you really. I mean, your job should be full-time business development. If you're not making 100 calls a day, or someone's not making 100 calls a day, just saying, "Oh, we're Gecko Products. We supply garden centres and stuff. We've got a mobile showroom coming around your area. Please come and have a look at what we've got." And then someone just turning up to independent garden centre, because the garden centres is where I would niche down onto that first of all, rather than small gift shops.
Yes. Yeah.
Because they could give you the volume. Some of these garden centres have like 1 million visitors a year. I mean, it's the same people going all the time, but it's quite interesting.
Who are the customers at the moment then, Chris? Do you do the garden centre route, or is it mainly like Wayfair and the online space that you're doing?
Yeah, so we've got about 500 wholesale customers, and they're all smaller independents. So our average order value on the wholesale is £200. So they're all smaller, and there are garden centres mixed in with that, but not a great deal.
Have you ever gone after that as a sector before, the garden centre space?
No, we haven't. So it's a good point.
It's blowing up in popularity now, isn't it? They're becoming like destinations. We've got one near us called Ruxley, and at Ruxley they do a Father Christmas experience. I mean, it's not a touch on yours, Jimbo, but they do. They've got a soft play centre. They've got like a fancy cafe. It's a day out now. Like Haley's going to go. Oh, should we go down the garden centre? Haley's like, oh yeah, let's go.
You came to a business masterclass in September, and I publicly stood on stage saying James Sinclair wants to get involved in garden centres.
Yeah. Have you been looking?
Oh yeah, I've had viewings. Yeah, some of they don't make as much money, the ones I've looked at, as you think, but there is huge opportunity to turn them into leisure destinations, which you are mentioning. The ones that make money are those.
Is that what you do with one then?
I know how to import all the stuff, so I won't be buying from someone like Gecko. I'd be doing it myself, or look to buy a Gecko and put it into my business model. Sorry to talk over you there, Chris, but
is that what you'd be doing?
Right.
You'd be looking to, as the opportunity there, to turn it number one into a leisure destination, so you'd have it as like really nice food, put the again from the vertical integration point of view,
and own a big chunk of freehold. And they're like the Wild West in terms of planning. You can sort of do what you like, because it's under a sui generis planning thing, that it's sort of retail, it's sort of leisure, and so they
sort of agricultural.
We'll just shove another big glass building up that's going to put
the
plants in, and then they wait 5 years, and then they turn it into a big restaurant.
A hot tub shop on site now, and then there's a barber shop on site now in the car park, and they just put them in these sort of freestanding buildings.
And the thing is, remember last year more 65-year-olds were created than 20-year-olds, the first time ever, and that's just going to become more and more, and that generation are wealthy and they've got time and they go into these places. So I think it's a really good point. Right, okay, so just because I'm conscious of time, cash flow and turning the stock faster. What's going to be your problem with finance is these losses. You need to get into profit.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
For a couple of years, because that's when it's very difficult to borrow money. But once you do that, there is lots and lots of very cheap importing finance now. But what's going to make it better for you, and what will make it easier to finance, if you get one or two big customers. So if you could find a garden centre customer that spends $500,000 a year with you, 200,000 a year with you, putting some of them in there will give a finance company something to hang their hat on, because there'll be a big company that are going to give you, like the Wayfair thing, they'll like that. If they owe you loads of money all the time and they can see that's a big company, that will make it. So someone like Investec, HSBC, all the big banks do this importing finance. NatWest do it too, and as the business grows, they work with you.
Because I was interested when you were talking about Costco and that they managed to turn the stock 12 times a year, and
12.4 times a year.
Yeah.
But they are the unicorn, an exception to the rule. They are such an amazing business. I mean, even Walmart's not doing that. Walmart's 7.5 times a year or 8 times a year. So, Costco is a very unique business, and probably, in my opinion, one of the best business models on the planet. So that's rare. Yeah. But lots of it, you if you really want to get this going, you need to you're going to have to think bigger. It's like most importing businesses that I know that make really good money, they break the 15 million turnover revenue and they're making sort of 2 to 4 million of profit. And because you need the turnover and the volume of stock to buy better in the Far East, to get the volume of the warehouse manager, the managing director, the salesperson. It's a funny thing. Importing really is not a lifestyle business.
It's an economies of scale game.
There has to. I mean, unless someone can tell me differently, but I do think there needs to be some volume around it.
Yes.
But I think if you know all your QC and you know all the factories and you know the products and you've got some fast selling stuff, you know, and there is something as well. It's like the volume of stock you have will always be dictated by your turnover. It just is in the importing game. Like if you sit on £5 million worth of turnover, you know, you'll be a 15 million turnover business. If you're sitting on £250,000 worth of stock, you'll be what you're at. You know, the 600,000. Like it usually is that 3 times thing that happens. Yeah, that's right. And I have looked at competitors, and they're all about the same. Yes, you can never get over it. Like you're saying, you can't, if you haven't got it, you can't sell it. No, that is usually these importing businesses. They use finance partners for the first 10 years, and then they've gone through enough cycles of turning cash back into cash. Call it cash conversion cycle. That's what we call it in finance. You know, how quickly does your pound turn back into a pound in that cash conversion cycle, and it takes a number of years for you to pay off all your stock and make enough profit on top so that you're working from cash rather than working from stock. Am I making sense here?
Yes.
So we've got... let me explain it then for both of you. So if you buy £1 million worth of stock and you use finance to buy it, you've got the interest on top of the stock, and it might take you 3 years to pay all the interest and then turn the stock 6 or 7 times to be able to live off of your own profits rather than using finance to grow the business. And it's only really when you get rid of the finance that you make lots of money. Vis-a-vis really is when we've had car finance companies on the show. You know, they're turning loads and loads of money, but really 60% of their profit goes on financing the stock that they're buying all these cars to sell.
Yeah.
When they've gone through enough cycles, they start using their own cash and then have to borrow less. They become very profitable.
That's about where we got to, and then the recession hit and people just stopped spending as much, and
but that is the problem. Is when a recession hits, you have to be much more proactive in getting more customers. And everyone your customers are battening down the hatches and you're doing the same, then you're in trouble. Look, it's difficult, but that's when you triple down on that, picking up the phones and doing offers, and you might have to reduce your margins for a year to keep, and then people go, wow, they really looked after us, and then you look at lifetime value.
Yes.
But we've got, I don't want to sort of blow my own trumpet, but Teddy Tastic, which is our business that's similarly to yours, we've been in recession and a bad economic space for the last sort of 18, 24 months. We've had our best 18, 24 months in our 7, 8, 9 years of history of running that business because we got very proactive. All of our exhibitions, we done bigger stands. We employed more people on business development, and all of that's paid off. And the great thing about a wholesale importing business, and you said it at the start, Chris, is your customers keep coming back and back and back. So when you find a customer, if you understand lifetime value, get into your head, if it costs me £500 to get someone that's going to spend 50 grand a year with us for the next 10 years, that's cheap.
Yeah.
I would even say to some garden centres, look, let's give you some stuff on sale or return. Let me give you £1,000 worth of stock. Let me give you £1,000 worth of stock. If it doesn't sell, I'll take it all back. Just get whatever you need to do, because they don't expect that sort of stuff forever. When I started Teddy Tastic, that's how I got it really going, really. It was on sale or return. I said, look, I'll give you all the stock. If it doesn't sell, I'll take it back and I'll credit note you. How can people say no to that? And they're the things that you need to do. If people, like...
So who did you go to start with?
Zoos and farm parks.
So through your farm park?
Yeah, I knocked on the door. I didn't have a website. I said, oh, look, I think you should do this for your Christmas grotto. I've supplied this farm park, my farm park. It really works. Oh, I'm not sure if it worked. Blah, blah. I said, look, you'll sell more tickets just for Christmas events if you give a teddy away rather than some plastic toy. And they said, really? I said, look, let me just give you the stock. See if it works. If it doesn't work, I'll take it all back. You don't have to pay me anything. Like, how can people say no to that? I don't do that anymore. I don't need to.
You don't need to, yeah.
But I did that in the first few years. You've got, like we speak about this a lot, Chris, on the podcast, is people's back of mind, what's the risk of me doing business with you? Now, until you are Rolex, until you are Marks and Spencer's, until you are, like a AAA brand that everyone really knows, which takes decades to build, you have to do some things to reverse people's risk of using you. It's called risk reversal in marketing. So what can you do to get people over the line, baby cakes? I think you could have a massive business here.
Yeah. There's huge potential if we get it right.
Well, if you
Chris,
if you spend more time on marketing and getting customers,
when you get it right, Chris,
I think you've got all the products. You just more people need to know about you. That's your problem. You're not
I think
marketing.
that garden centre market is absolutely rife, isn't it?
Yeah. If it was me as well, if I had Gecko products, I'd buy a garden centre and buy a cheap one, shove all your stuff in there and make that the showroom and make that your warehouse and distribute from there. And then once you own, because that's one of my secret sources as well for Teddy Tastic. And, we supply Sense Parts and Haven. They know we're operators. And they come and see us operating.
And they like that.
Yeah. It makes people think you're a consultant and advising them, which we do, by the way. We train our customers. You should be you should say to people, look, we'll come and help you dress the shelves. We'll send in one of our team to help you put stock out, really get to understand your business. I mean, you got to do this. That's all the things I'd be doing if it was my business.
Yeah. So with the so you did that with the teddy bears. You send people into the stores.
Yeah, we do arts and crafts, and we train them how to use the arts and crafts.
Yeah.
I saw a session. I was like, do you provide to Park Dean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a session.
Park Dean, Park Resorts, Haven, Sense Parts, they're all now.
I was like, that's Jimbo's gang doing sand art. They're the whole gang who, like the entertainments team, were all there doing sand art.
Yeah, it's kind of holiday show he goes on.
Sit Walton on the Naze. Shout out Walton.
Yeah. That was before he had children.
Yeah, just there by myself.
Right, well, Chris, I hope we've helped.
You had 5 questions that you submitted in advance. I think we've touched on a lot of those already. Do you use sales agents? Fast way to increase wholesale sales. I think we've touched on a lot of that. Is there any of the 5 questions that you don't think you've got enough of an answer on that you'd like to chuck in our direction? I say chuck in our direction, just ask Jimbo.
Yeah, so how do you measure product performance? So for example, tracking when to stop selling a line. What do you have certain thresholds? What do you do?
Yeah, just how many times it's turned in a year. But all of my products, I repeat, we're not really fashion lines.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give you the wrong answer because I don't absolutely understand your sector. So I don't think I'd be the best to quantify that for you. But we want to sell our stuff 3, 4, 5 times a year and keep turning it. If it's only selling once a year, then that's cash that's just sitting there, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. No, that's what I'm always conscious of. Making sure we haven't got too much dead stock.
Yeah.
So is do you manage all of your accounts in house, or do you use any sales agents?
No, we do it all in house, but I wouldn't be adverse to using some sales agents.
Yeah.
I would do anything to get customers and get your awareness out there.
Yeah,
It's
that's
all
right.
about lifetime value. Whatever you can do to get someone over the line, to get to know you, because you are. Not a lot of businesses have people that will buy from you week in, week out. You're like a big supermarket. They just keep coming back to you, topping up. So whatever you need to do to get people over the line.
Yes, and build that trust.
And you absolutely should have flyers going out, emails going out, and someone picking up the phone full time, just saying, "Oh, we've got some new products come out this week. Would you like to put? Or we've run out of stock of this, but you've interested in this. Can I put that on back order for you?" Like all of that stuff.
Yeah. Because we had some love ornaments that that weren't selling, so I sent 200 of those out to prospective customers with a flyer, and but it was just disappointing that we didn't get as much as I thought we could. But no, it's just being consistent and doing that all the time, isn't it?
Yep, absolutely. Well, there you go. Thanks very much for being on the show. I've got to dash into London, which I wish I could stick around for longer. But thanks very much for being on, Chris.
Yeah, thanks for your time, both of you.
You're amazing.
Amazing stuff. Good luck out
guy
there, mate. It sounds like you're doing very, very good things. It sounds like there's a great opportunity. So wish you all the best. I look forward to going into my local Ruxley Garden Centre and picking up some of your stuff.
Let's rate him.
Yeah, let's rate you.
Before we rate him,
thanks for being on.
Before we rate him, don't forget, guys, if you want to come and see the podcast live, we're going live in London on the 10th of June, 7 p.m. at the Leicester Square Theatre. We'd love to see you there. Tickets are £32. They're going like gangbusters, but might even be sold out by the time this comes out. But that's the podcast live.
Hottest ticket in town.
Hottest ticket in town. Right, 8 Traits Great Entrepreneurs. Hit that jingle, baby.
Go for it.
Does he start with the end in mind? Well, he knows what he wants, doesn't he?
He wants to be a farmer.
He wants to be a farmer.
Yeah, I think you could have that one.
Yeah, okay. That's 1 point. Passionate about their cause. I think he just sees it as a business.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's passionate about it.
Untold amounts of resilience. Yeah, average. They master relationships with people.
You saying yes or no? Because I need
No.
a tally chart.
Number 4, they master relationships with people.
No, I wouldn't say so.
Really? I thought it was nice, but...
Oh, fair enough. Have it then.
Number 5, commercial awareness. I actually do think he understands his numbers. Anyone
does.
that's a farmer and that's manufactured ice cream will very quickly know their numbers.
Yes.
I.e. lack of.
Yeah.
So
he's having that one, is he?
So much so that he lost so much money in farming he wants to own his own farm again.
Yeah.
That is farmers, though.
Yeah.
They innovate so they don't evaporate. No, I don't think so.
No.
They're master marketeers. No. They stay teachable and curious, but yes.
I think he was. So that is a grand total. Chris has scored himself a gigantic 1, 2, 3, 4 points.
There we go, 4 points to you, Chris. If you'd like to come on the podcast to help grow your business, and you can be open and honest, just like the wonderful Chris there, then you can apply on my website, jamessinclair.net. You click on the podcast button, there's an application form, you could be on the big show.
There you go. You've got to stop calling it the big show.
Why?
Steve Wright in the Afternoon owns Big Show. Just because he's now gone, God rest his soul, you can't have it. We are not at the broadcast success level to try and steal the Big Show yet.
I like saying the big show.
Well, you've got to stop, okay, for IP protection reasons.
Really?
Do you know what, though?
He's not going to sue me, is he?
I don't think he is. I could see us on Radio 2, in the afternoon. Jim and Jeb's in the afternoon.
Why can't we be on Radio 1?
We are too old for that, mate. We are too old for that.
Well, YouTube it is for the moment then. And if you're listening on the podcast, make sure you subscribe to the channel wherever you listen to your podcast. And if you're watching on YouTube, let us know what you think of Chris's business in the comments below.
Awesome stuff. See you on the next time.
Bonjour.
Ta-da.
Thanks for watching today, gang. I hope you enjoyed the show. Now, look, we're looking for some great businesses to come on the podcast. If you've got challenges, but you're desperate to grow your business and you can't necessarily work out how to do it on your own, you'll be a perfect candidate to come here on the podcast. It's absolutely free to come on the show. Go to my website, jamessinclair.net, and there's a podcast button. Click on the podcast button, fill in the application form, and we'll do our very best to get you on the show and try and grow your business. If you're loving the podcast, make sure you subscribe to the channel by clicking here. And why not give this one a watch? I think you'll like it.